This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
Very upset. I mean, it supported our family and so many families in this town. It's part of our heritage.
To get a notice like that is always going to be difficult, but right before Christmas is tough.
The devastating effects of the Crofton Mill closure on the community and what the future holds. Also tonight.
Do you plan to step down? I mean, there's been all this opposition.
I'm not stepping down, guys. I've got to get into it.
The writing is not just on the wall, it's on the floor, it's on the ceiling, and it really is a question of when and not if Mr. Rustad leaves the stage at this point.
More than half of his MLAs want him gone, and despite refusing to leave, John Rustad has been removed by his party. Or has he? Plus, Adam finds out what happened after a woman in Victoria was contacted by a stranger in Alberta who said they looked like twins. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin in Crofton tonight, where the community is reeling after the owner of the Crofton Mill announced it would be closing the operation permanently just a little more than a week before Christmas. CTV's Brendan Strain reports.
Upset. Mainly worried about the people, the 350 people that are going to be without work.
60-year Crofton resident Caroline Genus is in shock today after the owners of the Crofton Mill announced it will be permanently shuttering the facility on December 15th.
I mean, it supported our family and so many families in this town.
Her late husband worked at the mill, as well as their two sons.
My younger son is still working at the mill.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it today.
Amelia Breckenridge owns Third Wave Coffee in the heart of Crofton. She says the closure has sent shockwaves through the seaside community.
Very big change, but not just for our town, I think for North Cowichan as a whole.
The mill opened in 1956 and has been a major employer in the region ever since. The closure will see the layoffs of 350 workers.
It's a real punch to the gut for our whole community.
Rob Douglas, North Cowichan's mayor, says he was blindsided by the announcement and says the loss will leave a huge hole in the municipal budget.
They contribute about $5 million a year for property taxes, which we use to fund many of our core services.
Douglas says the mill has provided huge economic spin-offs for the community, and the closure will mean other businesses will suffer.
Thinking most right now about the 350 workers here who have been impacted. And to lose a good union job like this is tough any time of the year, but to get that news right before Christmas is devastating.
Very unfortunate decision that our company has had to make. We don't take it lightly.
The mill's owner, Domtar, says the mill is shutting down because of a lack of access to affordable wood in BC.
The last 4 or 5 years, we've seen a decline in the annual harvest in British Columbia, and a pretty steep decline. And that a lot of it has to do with government policy.
Ownership blames new government policies that have extended the length of cutting approval timelines.
So it's gone from a system that was weeks to years.
Without access to that fiber supply, the company says it has been losing millions of dollars in Crofton, and the losses are no longer sustainable. Brendan Strain, CTV News, North Cowichan.
From Crofton to the legislature in Victoria, the closure is sending waves of concern across BC. Premier David Eby calls the closure of the mill a very serious challenge and is keen to work with the company to see if there is a path forward. Adding, however, that harvesting the province's old-growth trees is not an option. Eby says he accepts that provincial restrictions on harvesting old-growth trees have driven up the price and access to fibre on Vancouver Island, calling the restrictions a necessary decision.
Wherever it's possible for our government to try to assist companies in continuing to operate, identifying new markets that may be able to pay a higher premium than the products that they're producing right now, we will continue to do that work to find a way for our forest sector to be able to provide sustainable jobs going forward. It is an industry that's facing a very changed reality on the ground.
Domtar operates another mill in Port Alberni and says the closure in Crofton will reduce the company's annual pulp production by approximately 380,000 metric tons of softwood pulp. Professionally incapacitated. That is the reason the BC Conservatives have given for the ouster of now former leader John Rustad. In a statement this afternoon, the Conservatives' Board of Directors passed a motion certifying Rustad as what they call professionally incapacitated and unable to continue as leader. As far as Rustad is concerned, however, he remains defiant, asserting on social media he has not resigned, he has not been removed, and isn't going anywhere. Either way, it made for an interesting day in the halls of the legislature.
So I'm currently still the leader of the party. Nothing has changed since we discussed this morning.
Who's the leader of your party right now?
We are working out everything internally in caucus right now, and we'll come out with a press release this afternoon.
So first of all, there hasn't been a caucus meeting we've had at this particular point, so obviously there'll need to be a caucus meeting going forward.
I am disappointed in my colleagues. I am disappointed in the way that this has taken shape. John is our leader. He will continue to be our leader.
Do you plan to step down? I mean, there's been all this opposition.
I'm not stepping down, guys. I've got to get into questions.
According to the party, Trevor Halford, who was first elected under the BC Liberals in 2020, will serve as interim leader. A boil water advisory continues today for a large part of the city of Duncan. The city and Island Health issued the advisory Monday following a sewer main break near Macadam Park. That break caused untreated wastewater to leak. As a result, one of the city's wells has been turned off for further testing. Island Health says the advisory will remain in place until testing confirms it's no longer required. The advisory includes the Cowichan District Hospital, where water is currently being delivered while the advisory is in place. Further updates are expected Thursday. A Greater Victoria man is making good on a promise to kayak for 24 hours. Ethan Reed is on the Gorge Waterway today after people helped him raise thousands of dollars in support of a campaign committed to improving men's mental health. CTV's Yvonne Raymond reports.
3.5 hours into the longest kayak ride of his life, Ethan Reed is smiling and a little apprehensive with more than 20 hours to go.
After 8 to 10 hours, I think it all is just the same, really. It's just all gonna hurt. I don't know if I'm gonna even be there, to be honest. I think by that time I'm gonna be kind of just tired and ready to go home, but I'm gonna feel accomplished and yeah, proud of myself and proud of the community that came together to make it possible.
Supporters have helped him raise thousands of dollars in a Movember campaign for men's mental health, in exchange for the 24-hour paddle.
Oh, it's amazing. For somebody that's literally half my age to put this much effort and care into something like this is, it's awesome, and that's why I'm here.
Ethan isn't going alone. Just like paddling with people, improved mental health struggles of his own.
It was mostly in high school. Spent most of my time playing video games, and I always wondered why I didn't feel good, why I felt isolated, I felt angry. And then I moved away and started working at a paddle shop and started paddling more often, getting outside more often, and then it was just almost instantly, I just felt connected to a community and connected to nature and to myself even.
Mental health service leaders say after years of work, they're seeing a shift, thanks to men like Ethan who are talking about it.
More men, I think, are opening the door to what can be life-changing conversations. All it takes sometimes is a moment of vulnerability and a personal story. So I share my own story as a man about living with depression, and that can open a crack often for other men to go, oh, okay, I'm not the only one. Someone else has had this experience.
Ethan's tip, find your passion.
It could be sewing, it can be going outside, it can be playing guitar, it can be literally any little thing. Just find passion.
He's saddled to his for better or worse through sunrise tomorrow.
It's for better good, and yeah, I'm having fun, so right now at least.
Yvonne Raymond, CTV News, View Royal.
BC Ferries is tapping into local producers. Soon, you can expect to see more made-in-BC options on board. The company is partnering with the Ministry of Agriculture and Food to showcase BC-grown and processed foods in its onboard menus and retail outlets. The partnership supports provincial goals to increase the use of those foods while also enhancing the onboard dining and shopping experience. Right now, more than 60% of the food served on board is produced or processed in BC, with that figure rising during the summer months when more local produce is available. Christmas light displays across neighborhoods are getting bigger and brighter, at least that's according to a new report from BC Hydro. The survey conducted on behalf of the utility company reveals social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest are inspiring residents to go all out. More than half of British Columbians are planning to decorate outside and are now motivated to impress others, with 42% report being more selective about the decorations based on how they will look. 31% aimed for a perfectly themed themed display. And when it comes to style, half say their displays are a mix of old and new decorations with nostalgic and sentimental touches. Holiday displays account for about 3% of the provincial electricity load during the holidays. Still to come, disruptions to holiday travel. Another airline faces a possible pilot strike.
Transat's in a position right now of being able to accept a financially disruptive situation like a strike.
The pressure is on to avoid grounding flights at the busiest travel time of the year.
7 degrees in Victoria right now. We'll actually see temperatures hold pretty steady right around 7 degrees for the next 24 hours. Some more rain in the forecast as well. We'll talk about that after the break.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Plan, book, and safeguard your journeys. Explore the possibilities at expediacruises.ca.
What makes West Shore Parks and Recreation a perfect place to play? It's our staff, working behind the scenes to keep the pool safe, kids engaged, and programs thriving. So apply today and join our team.
Well, Josh joins us now. Hey, if this was Sesame Street, the number of the day is 7.
Yeah, 7 degrees right now, 7 degrees later on tonight, 7 degrees for a daytime high again tomorrow. And we not only have that here in Victoria, but Comox, Port Alberni, and Port Hardy, all at 7 degrees right now. You got temperatures slightly milder there in Tofino at 8 degrees. Some rain set to come down across northern half of the island as we head through the evening hours, and overnight tonight some of that will wash through Victoria. So we had some rain to start the day, we'll get some rain to end the day, and then I think midday tomorrow, after some showers in the morning, about lunchtime, just cloudy skies. Look, here's the next system though. That already starts to bring some rain to areas around Port Hardy along the west coast through the afternoon, and by supper time, we've got rain back in the forecast for Victoria and up through Nanaimo, Comox, Port Alberni areas. In fact, most areas have a chance of rain almost every single day for the next 5 days. In the north, periods of rain tomorrow, high of 8. Heaviest of the rain, steadiest of the rain should be late in the day tomorrow and carrying into Friday. Saturday, you may actually see a few sunny breaks and then back to overcast skies Sunday, Monday, and even Saturday with that chance of some breaks of sun. There's rain in the forecast. Periods of rain out on the west coast or for inland areas tomorrow. High of 6, 9 degrees with some rain on Friday, and then showers as opposed to steady rain for the weekend. Highs of about 7 or 8 degrees. So that's a couple of degrees above average. 9s and 10s for the next 5 days out on the west coast. Rain tomorrow, rain Friday, and more rain through the weekend as well. It's not going to rain nonstop, though. As you saw with Futurecast, there will be some breaks at times over the next couple of days. In Comox, cloudy skies with some rain starting late in the day. High of 7 tomorrow. So right on par with where you were today. 10 degrees on Friday with some light rain. And then a mix of sun and cloud for Saturday before the chance of showers returns on Sunday. Nanaimo as well, you may get a break from the showers on Saturday. Tomorrow, though, it's going to be a wet one. High of 7 up to 11 with some rain in the morning on Friday, backing off in the afternoon. 6 degrees tomorrow morning in Victoria, 7 degrees tomorrow afternoon. So as we said, we hold basically steady at around 7 degrees all day. Periods of rain, especially through the early morning hours, and then in the afternoon. Some morning rain again on Friday, and then for the weekend, I've thrown a 30 and a 40% chance of showers in here for Saturday and Sunday. Looks like it's going to be really spotty, if anything at all, on Saturday. For the most part, just a mix of sun and cloud. Not bad temperatures either. About 12 degrees on Friday, 10 on Saturday. It's a handful of degrees above average. Average is 7, and then 9s for Sunday and Monday with the chance of some showers. CTV Weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So it's not going to rain all day tomorrow. There will be a bit of a break mid part of the day, but for the most part, it's a wet 5 days.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Well, Canadians who are planning to fly over the holidays may want to pay extra attention to this next story. 99% of unionized Air Transat pilots have voted to strike, and the flight cancellations could start soon. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the latest.
In exactly 1 week's time, Air Transat could be forced to start grounding flights, as its roughly 700 unionized pilots will be in a position to strike.
A December strike will be catastrophic because capacity is already saturated.
other airlines like Air Canada and WestJet are flying full plane for the holidays.
The threat during the busiest travel time of the year comes nearly a year after talks between the union and airline began. The pilots want pay raises and better job security and say they're tired of working under a contract signed 10 years ago. In a statement, the union says, "Let us be clear, we do not want to strike. However, after nearly a year of slow bargaining and little progress, we urge management to utilize the remaining time and negotiate seriously to avoid operational and flight disruptions."
If anyone knows labor negotiations, I do, and I know that there's a pattern here, and we obviously hope they get a deal.
The airline is confident a deal can be found, saying in a statement, "Although this is a common step in the collective bargaining process and does not mean that a strike will be initiated, we remain fully committed at the bargaining table and aim to reach a tentative agreement without labor dispute." Aviation analysts say the prospect of a Christmas slowdown puts pressure on a company already facing financial troubles.
I don't think Transat's in a position right now of being able to accept a financially disruptive situation like a strike, so they will settle.
Air Transat says its operations are currently running as normal. Either side must give 72 hours notice of a strike or a lockout. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Despite Donald Trump's push to buy American, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, is set to spend millions of dollars on a fleet of armored vehicles made by a Canadian defense manufacturer. The rush order came in late last month and is worth the equivalent of 10 million Canadian dollars. CTV's Rachel Aiello has been digging into the contract and has the details.
20 armored vehicles made by Brampton-based defense manufacturer Rochelle are set to be delivered to U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement agents before the end of the year. The rush order from ICE came in late last month and is worth the equivalent of 10 million Canadian dollars. According to U.S. procurement documents, Rochelle is uniquely positioned to fulfill the requirement within the necessary time frame, having confirmed immediate availability of vehicles that fully meet ICE specifications.
The government is not involved in the transaction.
The department enacting the U.S. administration's mass deportations has been accused of abusing human rights. Asked if the Canadian government had any concerns about the contract in light of this, the foreign minister wouldn't say.
We have not received any questions or permit requests regarding this transaction, and I will continue to reiterate that Canada and the United States have a strong bilateral relationship with an open line of communication in which, if necessary, I will raise the issues with Secretary Rubio.
Rochelle's made-in-Canada armored vehicles have been sent to the front lines in Ukraine, though the company also set up shop south of the border last year, ahead of U.S. President Donald Trump enacting his Buy American agenda. Rochelle did not respond to questions by our deadline about where the armored vehicles ICE ordered are originating. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, doppelganger delight. Adam finds out what a Victoria woman says is the greatest gift in finding a stranger who looks just like you. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Finally, Adam finds out what happened after a woman in Victoria was contacted online by a stranger in Alberta who looked just like her. On the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
When Felicia Harding looked at her phone that day, she never expected to see a stranger smiling from the screen who looked just like her.
I was blown away. She really did look like me.
She was Brittany Delaney, who was also surprised when a friend said she found her doppelganger on social media.
If I wouldn't have been looking at somebody else's profile, I would have thought they were photos of me.
After connecting online, Brittany and Felicia finally met in person.
And it was like this out-of-body experience where I felt like this is how people see me.
They found their similarities range from the superficial, like being able to unlock each other's phones and liking exactly the same beer, to the more substantial, like both working as entrepreneurs and both picking musicians as their partners.
There's a million things that are the same.
They formed a fast friendship, and Brittany was invited to Felicia's wedding, where, after family kept mixing them up, the women decided to do a DNA test.
A little surprised in finding out that we were both not related at all.
Although they aren't long-lost siblings, both women do feel like sisters. Even Brittany's son often can't tell them apart.
And they have like a crazy bond. He just loves her.
Loves her so much that if you show the boy a picture of Felicia and ask who it is,
it's the other mama.
The other mama.
Yes.
Which brings us to the women's big difference, their fertility journeys. Felicia hasn't been able to have kids.
Feeling like an auntie and, feeling like other mama. Like, to me, that's really special.
But the greatest gift in finding your doppelganger, they say, is seeing yourself from a whole new perspective.
Felt, I don't know, almost a little bit healing for me, because sometimes there are things you don't like about yourself, but then watching her and interacting with her, I was just like, oh, I think she's so lovely.
A sense of self-acceptance that's perhaps a reminder to all of us to be kinder to the reflection we see in the mirror. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
What a great story. That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night. Today on CTV News, open revolt.
Do you plan to step down? I mean, there's been all this opposition.
I'm not stepping down, guys. I've got to get into question.
The writing is not just on the wall, it's on the floor, it's on the ceiling, and it really is a question of when and not if Mr. Rustad leaves the stage at this point.
More than half of his MLAs want him gone, and despite refusing to leave, John Rustad has been removed by his party as the leader of the BC Conservatives. Also tonight.
I'm surprised his cat's still there. It was in there searching. He was hiding, I don't even know where.
Up in flames, a large fire forces dozens of people out of a Richmond apartment complex. How a man ran back to save his mom's cat. And drunk as a skunk, except this is a raccoon, a critter that broke into a liquor store and got blackout drunk after making quite a mess.
This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin with a political power play happening right now at the BC legislature. A majority of John Rustad's caucus has demanded he step down, and his own party has removed him as leader. But despite the dissent, Rustad says he's not going anywhere. CTV's Legislative Bureau Chief Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria. Rob, what happens now?
Well, Nafisa, this has been a day of high drama and high stakes for the BC Conservative Party. We're out front of the House Speaker's office, waiting to see who he decides may be the next leader or the current leader of the BC Conservative Party. It started this morning with news that a lawyer that 20 out of 39 caucus members, a majority of the BC Conservative caucus, had signed statements saying they no longer had confidence in John Rustad as their leader and they wanted him removed as leader. Rustad then responded with a defiant press conference this morning saying, as you noted, he's not going anywhere and that he was still the leader. He said, he'd had 71% of the leadership support in the recent leadership review, and he felt that it was his right to stay on as leader, notwithstanding the detractors that amounted to a majority of his party. Then later on in the day, the party issued a statement saying that in light of the loss of confidence, they were removing Rustad as its leader and appointing Trevor Halford, Surrey White Rock MLA, as the interim leader. Halford said that he indeed had accepted that appointment, but Rustad remained defiant that it was improper to remove him on those grounds. Over the course of the day, there's been a steady flow of MLAs back and forth for the Conservatives, about half of them saying that John Rustad is still their man, about half saying that he has been removed, so it remains very much in doubt. At this hour, the Conservative caucus is having a meeting about 50 feet in front of me, and the office speaker, Raj Chauhan, has been visited by both John Rustad as well as Trevor Halford. He's told us that he will have a decision on this matter soon. We're assuming that that will include who the leader of the official opposition is, but for now, John Rustad says it's improper to remove him in the way that they've attempted to. They cited the fact that he was professionally incapacitated. Rustad says that that's improper. The language of the Constitution says incapacitated, but that refers to cognitive abilities, not the loss of his party's confidence. So we'll have to wait and see, but we expect further developments in the coming minutes or hours. Nafisa.
Busy day for you, Rob. Thank you. There's disappointment tonight after the man convicted of killing 22-year-old Chelsea Gauthier failed to apologize in court. 70-year-old Gary Loesch was found guilty in July of manslaughter and indignity to human remains in Gauthier's 2017 stabbing death. The young Indigenous mother left behind 2 children. Yesterday, Loesch was brought to tears in court while listening to 11 emotional victim impact statements. Friends and family aren't convinced he's remorseful.
I think it's all for show. If he was sorry, he would have said something prior. He's had multiple years and multiple opportunities to admit to something, to apologize, and he is only doing it now.
Loesch is currently out on bail after a psych assessment found he was a medium risk for future violence. The Crown is asking for 14 years while the defense wants 10. The hearing will resume later this month. Fire investigators are waiting until a building is deemed safe to enter before beginning a full inspection. The apartment complex in Steveston suddenly caught fire, and now dozens of people are out of their homes. Cries for help could be heard from the 3rd floor just before 8 o'clock yesterday night, and then people saw heavy smoke and flames. Firefighters say every crew in the city was called to battle the fire, and they were able to put it out fairly quickly. At least 18 units in the pet-friendly building have been damaged.
Both cats survived the fire. That's the main thing, and it was the apartment right next to where the fire was. And we found them, and they were both alive, so that's all we needed to do.
Surprised this cat's still there. It was in there searching. He was hiding, I don't even know where, but it took me a while to find him.
It's still not clear how many pets are missing, but all of them got out of the building. Only one person was hurt, and his injuries are described as minor. A deadly collision involving a pedestrian in Burnaby last night is under investigation. Mounties say it happened on Kingsway near Edmonds Street just after 7 p.m. Police say the driver remained on scene, but they aren't sharing any details about the victim or vehicle. Investigators are looking for dash cam video and witnesses as they try to figure out what happened in the moments leading up to the collision. The Premier held meetings today to see if there is a way to hold on to 350 jobs at a pulp mill slated for permanent closure. Domtar announced the closure of its Crofton facility yesterday, sending the Cowichan Valley reeling. Learning about the loss of hundreds of good-paying jobs right before the holidays has been devastating. The company claims tariffs aren't the main issue, instead blaming the closure on government regulation.
Once you lose those, they're pretty hard to get back. And these are people who, they shop at our local businesses that contribute a lot to our local economy.
We're all hands on deck to try to figure out if there's some way to keep this facility operating.
The issue is fiber supply, and so if we can't do it, it's a real challenge for anybody to come in.
Coming up on CTV News at 6, why there are thousands of trees approved for harvest but are being left where they are. After the break, we're only a third of the way through the NHL season, and for Canucks fans, it's a dismal drag.
Turns on the near side. McKinnon scores!
The team is 1 point out of last place in the league with yet another loss last night to Colorado. What has gone so utterly wrong this year? The Rinkside Report is next.
The Rinkside Report, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
The Canucks dropped 3 of 4 on their recent road trip and now find themselves near the basement in the National Hockey League standings. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, some fans may be losing interest, and even more troubling, the captain might be as well. Here's this week's Rinkside Report.
Nice pass on the left wing. Archdeep Bain centers. Carlson scores!
This Linus Carlson goal early in the first was about all the Canucks had to celebrate in a 3-1 loss to the Colorado Avalanche.
It's tough to lose. We need the points right now, so it's frustrating. But I don't think we played bad.
On their 4-game road trip, the Canucks beat the Ducks and then lost 3 straight to San Jose, LA, and Colorado. They've only won twice in the last 7 games and have just 10 total wins on the season.
This is a flawed roster.
This is a team that was poorly constructed, hasn't been able to withstand those injuries. There isn't nearly enough depth.
Following Tuesday night's loss in Colorado, the Canucks now sit 30th out of 32 teams in the National Hockey League, just 1 point out of last place.
The irony in all of this is that the Canucks were trying to prove to Quinn Hughes that they could build a contending roster around him, and yet they've fallen flat on their face. And so you can understand his frustration.
That frustration clearly evident on this third period play against the Avalanche, where Hughes seemed to let up on the back check, allowing Colorado a grade A scoring chance. Even if it doesn't always lead to results, the captain continues to wow most nights in the offensive zone. But there are no moral victories here.
Wins are the most important thing. If you lose, but you lose 3-1 and not 5-1 or whatever not, you're still losing.
With a season and a half left on his contract and no trade protection, Hughes' value on the block may never be higher than it is now. But if the Canucks part with their captain and his generational talent, morale in the fan base may hit an all-time low. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Ringside Report, brought to you by Capital Direct.
CapitalDirect.ca. With colder weather on the way, experts are reminding drivers to prepare their vehicles, especially when it comes to having the right tires. Today, CTV News saw firsthand just how big a role they play. Ed Nesbitt has more.
And suddenly, brake.
It happens quickly. You're cruising along when suddenly you're forced to hit the brakes. Experts say the tires on your vehicle will likely be a key factor in what happens next.
That winter tire is going to give you the best vehicle control, the best acceleration from a stop, the best braking.
Dan Guilfoyle is a driving instructor at the Justice Institute of BC. He says when temperatures dip below 7 degrees, all-season tires become less effective.
Hard on the brakes, hard on the brakes, hard on the brakes. Now.
Wednesday, he gave us a chance to test this out, putting us through a series of maneuvers on the track. First, in a vehicle with all-season tires. Then another with winters.
A lot of people run with the all seasons, the mud and snows. They are not going to have the same vehicle control.
We also tested out bringing the vehicle to a stop from 50 and 60 kilometers an hour. The difference was more than a car's length.
That speed is going to be the difference between stopping before an accident or actually colliding with the vehicle ahead of you.
As winter sets in, drivers are reminded to slow down, prepare their vehicles, and follow speed limits so everyone makes it home safely. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Pitt Meadows.
Vancouver is celebrating a major homecoming for adaptive sport. The Adaptive Sailing Association of BC has announced the 2026 Mobility Cup will return to the city where it all began. From September 8th to 12th, sailors from around the world will race at Jericho Beach for the regatta's 35th anniversary. First launched in Vancouver in 1991, the Mobility Cup aims to prove anyone can sail regardless of ability. The last time Vancouver hosted was in 2010. Well, hey, all you cats and kittens, we've got some feline friends that need homes coming up in our Homeward Bound pet adoption segment. And later, we call them trash pandas around here, and, well, this one got trashed. The raccoon that ravaged a liquor store. Plus, Anne's forecast is coming up. Stay with us. And you are out in the holiday festivities, and it looks like you are undercover, but it is looking gorgeous out there.
Yes, thousands of lights here in Noel, Surrey. Lots of people here as well. There's pictures with Santa. Tons of holiday characters. I ran into the Grinch earlier on. I think Olaf is here as well. But it's a great way to get into the holiday spirit. And this year, Bright Nights is here fundraising for the Burn Fund as well, which is fantastic news. They did move over from Stanley Park. So first, let's take a look at our forecast. Dry right now, but the rain is going to return. Here's a look at our satellite radar imagery. We do have a low pressure system pushing its way in towards the south coast, which will bring us wet weather. For the southern interior, however, you're looking at light snow for Kamloops, Kelowna, Revelstoke. You'll see that rain-snow mix with a high of 2. Overcast conditions with some sunny breaks for Vernon, Nelson, and Cranbrook. Temperatures between -1 and 2 degrees. For the central interior, a mix of sun and cloud for Prince George. Mostly cloudy skies for Quesnel and Williams Lake. For the central coast, you'll see 5 degrees. Cloudy skies with a few showers. For the northern half of the province, periods of rain for Masset, light rain for Prince Rupert and Terrace, light snow for Fort Nelson with a high of -13 degrees with partly cloudy skies for Fort St. John and Smithers. For the North Island, it'll be gray and wet for Port Hardy at 8 degrees, 7s for Campbell River and Comox. Very soggy for the South Island from Tofino right down to Victoria. You're looking at temperatures between 6 and 9 degrees. Soggy for the Sunshine Coast as well with a high of 6. Same story up the Sea to Sky Highway for Squamish. You'll see a high of 6 degrees. For Whistler, 2 degrees, cloudy skies with a few showers. And for us across the Lower Mainland, we'll see rain return tonight. It'll continue through tomorrow. Temperatures between 6 and 7 degrees. We'll see periods of rain for Friday, 8 degrees. Heading into the weekend, we will start off dry with some sunny breaks. Showers return in the afternoon. Steady rain expected for Sunday. And then Monday will start off cloudy. Rain returns in the afternoon with a high of 9. Well, this week, CTV is kicking off the holidays with our favorite event, Toy Mountain. Join us this Thursday and Friday at Guildford Town Centre as we collect new unwrapped toys and donations in support of the Lower Mainland Christmas Bureau. Or you can donate online at ctvvancouver.ca. Let's build a Toy Mountain and help put smiles on a whole lot of faces for the holidays. Toy Mountain is made possible by our friends at Alpine Credits, Applewood Auto Group, and Triple O. So lots of people here tonight enjoying the holidays, Nafisa, and I think I'm going to hunt down Santa and try to get a picture with him so I can show you when I get back to work tomorrow.
Love it. Thank you so much, Anne. It is time for Homeward Bound, our weekly segment where we introduce you to furry friends from local rescues looking for their forever home. Here are some cats from the Vancouver Orphan Kitten Rescue Association, also known as VOCRA. Abe is a lively, lovable cat with a big personality. The 4.5-year-old is full of playful energy and loves sneaking around corners to surprise you with a friendly pounce. After a day of adventuring, he'll curl up beside you at night. Abe would be happiest in a kid-free home with someone who can spend many hours of the day with him. Carmel is a quiet kitty with an independent streak. Her hobbies include batting at toys, giving side-eye to snacks, and occasionally accepting head pets. The 1.5-year-old takes naps seriously, often belly up in the sunniest spot she can find. Carmel is not too fond of young kids, but doesn't mind friendly teens. Haruna and Chibi are a bonded pair who would like to be adopted together. Haruna is a lap cat who loves snuggling and watching videos on YouTube. Me too. Chibi loves hugging the couch arm and observing the world from a distance. The 1.5-year-old sisters are looking for a quiet home where they can nap and look out the window together. If you'd like to adopt these kitties or to get more information, you can head to vocra.ca. Well, ever wonder what would happen if a raccoon broke into a liquor store? We'll show you. Plus, a superstar serving up sweet treats. What is Hugh Jackman doing, slinging soft serve? Stay tuned for Take a Look at This. We'll be right back.
Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now.
Spotify Wrapped is out, revealing this year's top music trends. In Canada, Drake led streams, followed by Taylor Swift, Morgan Wallen, The Weeknd, and Kendrick Lamar. Alex Warren's Ordinary was the top song, while Wallen's I'm the Problem topped albums. Globally, Bad Bunny claimed the top artist spot for the 4th year, and Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars' hit Die With a Smile was the most streamed track. Selling ketamine to actor Matthew Perry in the weeks before his fatal overdose has been sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. He's the first of 5 people to be sentenced in connection to the actor's death. Prosecutors were asking for a 3-year prison sentence for Dr. Salvador Plasencia after getting a plea agreement where he admitted to selling Perry large amounts of ketamine, knowing he was a struggling addict. He has not been accused of selling the dose that killed the Friends star in October 2023. Director Quentin Tarantino is sharing his top 20 movie picks of the 21st century, allowing only 1 film per director, and his choices might surprise you.
Hold on, this is no time to be hysterical.
It's the perfect time to be hysterical.
Toy Story 3 was just shy of topping the list. Tarantino rated this Pixar sequel number 2, describing it as almost a perfect movie. First place went to Ridley Scott's Black Hawk Down, while 20th spot was Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. You can listen to his full list and commentary on the Bret Easton Ellis podcast. Now the preview of CTV News at 6, Mi-Jung Lee.
Nafisa, a dramatic shake-up in BC politics. In a statement this afternoon, the Conservatives Board of Directors passed a motion calling John Rustad professionally incapacitated and unable to be leader. Rustad, though, is adamant he is staying on. The confusion and the fallout coming up. And the mayor of Surrey is slamming the Surrey Police Services request for more funding. She says if the budget's approved, it would mean hefty property tax hikes. Critics say the mayor is actually to blame for cost overruns. And with World Cup kicking off in 6 months, there are still plenty of questions about the cost to taxpayers. I'll be back at 6. Nafisa?
Thanks, Mi-Jung. A trash panda gets trashed on stolen booze as a celebrity uses a sweet strategy to promote his movie. And a Christmas tree made of thousands of balloons lifts holiday spirits. Well, take a look at this. Here's CNN's Jeremy Roth.
A Virginia liquor store was recently raided by a masked bandit who caused damage to the merchandise before passing out drunk on the bathroom floor. And that masked bandit was a raccoon. And no, I am not kidding. Hanover County Animal Protection, which responded and removed the trashed panda, shared the news on social media, saying police believe the animal broke in, ransacked the store, sampled the spilled wares, and like so many college students, was found passed out face down next to the toilet. Officials say the crocked critter eventually sobered up and was safely released, but for those keeping score, this makes the 3rd substance-related raccoon story to make headlines this year, with one that got drunk in a Kentucky distillery's dumpster and had to be revived with CPR, and the other being found by Ohio police in a vehicle holding a meth pipe. Still not kidding. Look, I know times are tough and it's a jungle out there, but these raccoons need to seriously examine their life choices, man. And now from a drunk as a skunk raccoon to a sugar-slinging Wolverine. A Wisconsin frozen custard parlor got a dose of star power when actor Hugh Jackman showed up and served up some custard cones to promote his upcoming film about a Neil Diamond cover band from Milwaukee, according to WTMJ. The flavor du jour was Song Sung Blueberry, a play on the film's title, and the superstar's surprise service was a welcomed sweet treat for customers just in time for the holidays. Finally, a UK hotel has a neat holiday treat of their own, a 25-foot-tall Christmas tree made from 100,000 balloons. The amazing decoration, encased in a plastic ball outside Birmingham's Moore Hall Hotel and Spa, was constructed for a good cause, as each balloon can be purchased and sponsored to benefit local charities this holiday season. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Most people in the world will never have a chance to lift the FIFA World Cup unless you build your own. Lego has teamed up with FIFA to announce the launch of a life-size version of the iconic gold trophy. The toy is made up of over 2,800 Lego bricks and will be the exact same height as the real thing, 36.8 centimeters. Goes on sale in March and will cost you a pretty penny, $200. We will return for CTV News at 6 with Mi-Jung Lee. Right now, here's Sandy Ronaldo with CTV National News. Have a great evening.